Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Rusty Ways Gravel, and welcome to Arran. The Isle of Arran is a very popular holiday destination which is located off Scotland's west coast in the Firth of Clyde. Until the mid-13th century, Arran was, in common with the large tracts of the west of Scotland, under Viking control. This fact is reflected in some place names such as Brodick, which means broad bay. Often called Scotland in miniature, I plan to ride from the top to the bottom today. We will mostly be following the eastern portion of the Arran coastal way as we head south from Lochranza Castle in the north, through Lochranza and over the mountain pass to Laggan Cottage on the east coast. Following the coastal path, we head south to Sannox and through Corrie before picking up the forest paths beneath Goat Fell. Skirting around the granite peak, we head into Glen Rosa and out again to Brodick. After Brodick, it's back to the forest as we continue south, picking up the coastal way just south of Lamlash and eventually arriving at Glen Falls. After the falls, it's another 10 kilometres or so through the forest tracks, arriving on the southern coast of Arran and ending our ride in Kildonan. This route is heavily inspired by Arran Bike Club's end-to-end Enduro route published on visitaran.com. I've made a few alterations to suit my route requirements. It's very popular to bring a road bike here. I've done it. It's lovely, a lovely ride around here. But today I'm looking for the off-road adventure. Now I know there's a bit of a grinduro down to the south, and I was looking at that as a thing to do, and I thought, there must be more, and that's where I found this. So I brought the mountain bike today, just because I think it's going to be more hardtail friendly than gravel bike. Don't get me wrong, big fan of underbiking, but today that's not the adventure I'm seeking. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as I cycle north to south on Arran. Let's go. So let's sum up what we've done so far then. So we've left Lochranza, we've gone up the pass and we started coming down the other side. I was going to do something on the top, but it was way too windy, so I found a bit of shelter. Here we are on the single track on the eastern side of the island. Climbing up was as I expected it would be. I'm glad I brought the mountain bike. Pretty rocky, pretty narrow, pretty brackeny. Slippery schists, yes that is a word, schist type of rock. When you get the slabs, quite slippery, look out for those. And then there's a false summit, which was quite disappointing when I got there, but then you get over that one. Over the top, massive views across the Firth here. And then coming down this little very narrow, quite slippery track. You're super careful coming along this bit, but it's really worth it, good fun. Brought the right bike for a change, I think. Happy about that. I can just see some ruins down there from the old shepherding huts and stuff like that. But we'll keep going, head on towards the cottage, and I'll see you there. Brilliant, we've descended down. We're now at Laggan Cottage. private cottage, owned by a few foreign people, I think, over the times. I'm not sure who owns it now, but very, very closed. Coming down just behind the cottage is just bracken fest. It's like you come down up there through that bit. It's not ideal. I've got probably so many ticks on me now. It's pretty much unrideable. But never mind, we're here at the bottom. That was fantastic, really enjoyed that. Got a bit of a technology problem. The gooseneck I use for getting all the crisp shots as I cycle by has just snapped on me. So I've got no way to clamp the GoPro. So it's going to be a reduced point of view video today, which is really frustrating because I wanted to make it nice and cinematic. But never mind, maybe more chesty cam than you're used to, but we'll survive. So now we go along the coastline here and see what kind of fun awaits us. Let's have a look. Any idea what those white things are along the coastline? They seem to be powered by something. Wonder what it is. If that's not power, that might be communications. I don't know. Someone let me know. What is that? So we're at the part of the trail called Fallen Rocks, which, as the name might suggest, has a lot of fallen, huge boulders. Looks like it's all these old conglomerate walls that are just collapsing down. Pretty tasty looking geology there though, I like that. Geologically speaking, Arran is wonderful to visit. The division between the highland and lowland areas of Arran is marked by the Highland Boundary Fault, which runs northeast to southwest across Scotland. Arran is a popular destination for geologists who come to see intrusive igneous landforms such as sills and dikes, and sedimentary and metasedimentary rocks ranging in age from Precambrian to Mesozoic. Maybe we will talk a bit more about this later in the video. Trail report so far then. Yeah, mountain bike was the right choice. No way I'll get along there on a gravel bike, I'll just be walking the whole thing. Luckily, looks like some sort of ATV's been along here quite recently, so it's flattened quite a lot of the bracken, which makes it a whole lot easier. So thank you for whoever just drove down here recently. So I think it's just under 3k before we leave this lovely, peaceful, isolated coastal route, and I need to get moving because the midges have found me. So let's get going. So that's the end of the single track. Now it's just nice, smooth, wide gravel by the looks of it. So we're just going to enjoy that. This is a nice gravel treat after that steep but fairly short climb. Oh, look at this, fresh. Well, here we are in Glen Rosa, lovely Glen Rosa, and Ceir Mhor. You can probably just see that triangular shaped mountain behind me there. Glen Rosa is a glaciated valley. Ice would have been hundreds of meters of thick here around 18,000 years ago. Look out for the pyramidal mountain of Ceir Mhor as you cross the bridge to turn back down the glen. Known as the Matterhorn of Arran, its name means the big comb, referring its resemblance to a cockerel's comb. It is separated from the island's highest peak, Goat Fell, by a col called the Saddle. So where would I last see you? Must have been Sannox, a long time ago. Yeah, so what have I done since then? I've climbed up a lovely newly graded forestry track with lovely views over Brodick in the bay, and then descended down through the woods. And that was good fun, a bit slippery in places. And then I've just sort of hiked a bike up the eastern side of the glen here. Do not recommend that. Not a great way to ride at all. Just horrible, on off all the time, massive granite ditches. But we're here as far up as I'm going to cycle anyway. I'm going to turn around now, cycle back down, head to Brodick, get some lunch. This is a good track on this side, good fun to come down on the mountain bike. I wanted to get the old Frank up to follow me, but there's so many people. I don't want to risk flying over all their heads and having them all panic, because they do panic when a drone suddenly appears above them. So yeah, no over the top shots for here unfortunately, but if you want to come and see it, come here and have a look. This is fantastic. So I popped into Brodick to get an excellent co-op based lunch. Feeling refreshed, ready to go. I think this next part of the ride from Brodick down is quite hilly, so good job I had plenty of sustenance. And now the sun's out. I don't know about Scotland in miniature, but definitely Scotland's weather in miniature on Arran. I think I've had everything today. I just keep cycling around every 20 minutes. New season. So I think from Brodick south, this is all the gravel bike friendly stuff. When I was looking at all the potential routes to do when I came here, there's not really much gravel bikey north of Brodick. It's all from Brodick down. So I'm expecting this to be very tame gravel now. Still got some climbs in it I'm not going to be happy about, but I think less of the enduro riding now. Arran has a particular concentration of early Neolithic Clyde cairns. Also, there are numerous standing stones dating from prehistoric times, including 6 stone circles of Macri Mhor. The circles are associated with the religious and ceremonial activities of the Neolithic and Bronze Age farmers living on Macri Mhor. The stone circles aligned with a prominent notch at the head of Macri Glen, where the midsummer sunrise would have been visible. Later on, the circles were used for burials, perhaps for prominent members of the community. The stone circle named as Fingal's Cauldron Seat is named after Fingal the Giant, a mythic figure probably derived from the legendary Irish warrior Finn McCool, who, as legend has it, created the Giant's Causeway. One of the stones has a hole in it. This is where Fingal is said to have tethered his dog Bran while he ate a meal in the inner ring. I'm not really sold on that descent into Lamlash in peak bracken season. Oh, it's probably more of a winter, autumn type of thing. Why is it always bracken and brambles grow the same place at the same time? In cahoots. Very rough coming down there, very overgrown, couldn't see the track, couldn't see what was underneath. Went over the bars once, so I just fell straight into a hole. The gravel track from Brodick to the top of that descent into Lamlash was sublime. What a nice route that is. Really excellent gravel riding there. I wouldn't bring a gravel bike down that though. I'd find another way. But in the winter, or if you're mad, come down there by all means. Have a laugh. Oh, just seeking refuge in the shade on this gravel climb up to the waterfall. I tell you what, when Arran's 4 seasons in a day decide to do summer, it's hot. Oh, very hot. Apart from the fact that this is at the end of the day, at the end of a stonking difficult morning, this gravel is amazing. Even though, like, Arran, as many of you will know, gets absolutely rammed with people. Like, all the villages and towns down there are absolutely chocker. But just up here, just a few kilometres away from the main roads, not a soul. Blissfully quiet. Amazing. Well, that's a sight for sore eyes down there. Here we go. That's the end of our route. Just down there, and a nice cold drink as well. But before we go, just enough time to spot the dikes that are going out into the bay. See those fingers shooting out into the sea? They're called dikes. They're volcanic extrusions that shoot through the rock and cut it vertically. And like little fingers around here, they're called dike swarms when there's loads of them like this. Quite a good area to see them down here. Comes from the volcano up at Goat Fell. The northern granite on Arran, which forms the highest peak on the island, is in fact the roots of a volcano, which was active about 60 million years ago. The characteristic volcano shape no longer exists. It has been removed by glaciation. What remains is the solidified magma that existed beneath the volcano, which had time to cool at depth and become granite. Due to the slow cooling, the resulting rock is coarsely crystalline and very resistant to weathering. Goat Fell is the highest peak on Arran and is composed entirely of granite. The shrinking and cracking pattern produced upon cooling and exhumation of granite is called tor. The southern coast of Arran exposes one of the best examples of a dike swarm in the world. These walls of black igneous rock were formed when basaltic magma was squeezed up through cracks in the Earth's crust as the continents of Europe and North America were pulled apart. The island of Pladda is made of the same rock as the dikes. It was formed when magma pushed its way through a horizontal rather than vertical crack in the Earth's crust. From Kildonan shore you get a good overview of the dike swarms as well as views south to the island of Pladda and Elsa Craig. These were also made of igneous rocks from around 60 million years ago. Pladda is made up of a basalt like the dikes, and Elsa Craig is made of microgranite used in the manufacture of curling stones. Each one of the dikes represents a crack formed as the crust was stretched. The total thickness of all the dikes at Kildonan shows exactly how much the crust was stretched during continental rifting. And I bet you thought you got away without any geology today. Saved it till the end. Right, let's get down here and get ourselves a nice end of ride refreshment. And we're down here, we've made it. End to Enduro complete. What a day. Now, I saw on the overview that it said it was going to be a tough ride. They're not wrong. Even with the detours I made to try and make it slightly more friendly for my riding style, it was still a very tough day, but absolutely worth it. I feel like I understand Arran now. So from Lochranza to Brodick in the north there, that's a very much a mountain bike terrain. You've got the small problem of Goat Fell that's in the way, but when you're south of Brodick, coming all the way down here, gravel bike central. Absolutely glorious. Wonderful, wonderful routes, smooth trails, well graded. Just not flat, just never flat here. But there we go, what a wonderful day. I'm off to go to drink now. I think the Kildonan hotel is actually closed at the moment, so no drinks there. Hopefully the campsite's got something. But yes, that will do very much. Thank you, Arran. Thank you very much for having me. What an amazing day out that was. I am exhausted. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry for the lack of points of view. Blimmin' technology breaking on me, so I was very limited with how I could get my angles and stuff, but hopefully it'll work out. Right, relax time, and I will see you on the next ride. Thanks for watching, everybody.